Breaking news for United States crypto investors. Eleanor Terrett has just reported XRP ETFs are going live this November. And you're going to want to stick around for today's entire episode as we take you guys through some phenomenal updates for the XRP community. With the official date being released out of the SEC, we are set to see American XRP ETFs trading and live starting on November 13th. If you're excited and you're ready for XRP ETFs in the USA, smash that like button and leave your 2025 price prediction underneath the video. We're also going to be breaking down a massive amendment that happened today, Johnny, as the XRPN ticker symbol went live on the Nasdaq. And that would be the first American XRP treasury. Many are calling it the XRP MicroStrategy. So we're going to break down the new demand coming into this market. There's some misconceptions out there about Ripple donating nearly 400 million units of XRP. We're going to show our listeners how this is a great thing for the XRP community. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Good Evening Crypto, your favorite crypto news related channel. If you enjoy this content, smash that like button and subscribe as you're going to get an update every single day, 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. And today we're going to be diving into the breaking news that everybody came here for, as the official XRP ETF approval date has been revealed, as former Fox Business reporter Eleanor Terrett has confirmed that with the new SEC S1 filings, XRP ETFs should be going live this November. But it's important to remember the context of all this. The reason that the HBAR and Litecoin ETFs were able to go live earlier this week is because they had these exact S1 amendments to their filings, which after 20 days meant these products go live. And the breaking news we're reporting on today, Canary Capital has officially reported and filed their updated S1 for its XRP spot ETF. This removes the delaying amendment that stops a registration from going auto-effective and gives the SEC control over the timing. This sets Canary's XRP ETF for a launch date of November 13th, assuming the Nasdaq greenlights the 8-A filing. Now, it's important to note that is only 14 days from today that we could see institutions buying XRP through a Wall Street offered XRP ETF product. Now, it's also important to note that the government shutdown is still ongoing. The government reopening, according to Eleanor Terrett, could affect the timing, potentially making this happen even faster if the SEC is satisfied or back if the staff purpose additional comments. However, it is worth noting that the SEC chair himself has said on several occasions that he seems to be on board with companies taking advantage of the auto-effective method, meaning he supports the fact that if the amendments expire, these products go live. SEC Commissioner Paul Atkins said yesterday he was pleased to see companies like MapLight using the 20-day statutory waiting period to go public during this government shutdown. He also praised the same legal mechanism that Bitwise and Canary Capital used to get their Solana, HBAR, and Litecoin ETFs going live this week, guys. And I'm going to say it again. This is an exciting episode because officially we can look at a date and point to a deadline. November 13th, 2025, we will have XRP ETFs going live. And the exciting part of that, it could happen even sooner. Johnny, what are your thoughts?
I'm so excited, baby, that they are coming finally. Do you realize that the SEC just made that change to the rule right before the government shutdown? You don't think they didn't know this was coming? They literally probably had a good clue that Congress was going to not do their job and fail, and as they always do, or shut the government down. But yet they put this beautiful change in process. So if you think about it, you know what this kind of reminds me of, Ab? It's like almost like self-service. Like you literally just have to go fill out the paperwork, get it all submitted, and you can then wait the 20-day waiting period, and boom, your ETF is launched. I mean, you literally are seeing the difference from when you have a pro-crypto administration versus anti-crypto administration, how easy they have made it. They are literally saying, here, the door is open. Come and launch as many of these things as you want. So don't be surprised if we start seeing a flood of ETFs. You can almost look at what other cryptos have future markets already open, and you can guess what's coming next. But I'm excited because we have been waiting for a very, very long time, and we are finally at the moment where we're going to start to see, I think, a floodgate of XRP ETFs coming through, and then obviously the liquidity that follows, and then we'll see what the price reaction does.
Well, here's what's interesting, guys. The Canary Capital CEO, the company that's scheduled to have the first XRP ETF in the United States, said he anticipates $2 to $3 billion worth of demand on day one for the XRP ETF. We have JP Morgan saying 8 billion over 12 months. We have guys like Sal Gilberti predicting $20 billion in the first 12 months. And we also have Paul Barron going out there and predicting $50 billion in the first 12 months after the XRP ETF is launched. That type of liquidity, that type of demand coming into this market, Johnny, that will have an impact on the XRP price chart. The real debate is, how big of an impact will it have? Will it be a $10, a $30, or a $100 impact? Time will tell for the XRP community. But Jake Claver said that's not where the excitement ends, guys, because BlackRock is about to enter the conversation, and anyone who's unprepared will be caught off guard.
The answer is simple: the ETFs. We've had a ton of applications for spot ETFs for XRP that have been pushed back and delayed and delayed. We need them all to launch at the same time. I know people have been frustrated by that, but this needs to be a coordinated effort to be able to drive XRP's price to a high enough price that it has enough liquidity to settle back into the stock market and save the day in this situation. And BlackRock, I think, is going to be the one leading that charge. Back in November of 2023, there was an iShares Trust ETF for XRP that popped up on the Delaware website. And mysteriously, BlackRock never made a statement, and neither did Ripple, about that being fake. It was only Bloomberg that came out and stated that they had talked to somebody at BlackRock and it was a fake, ETF filing, and they were going to get to the bottom of it, and the DOJ was investigating, and then nothing ever came of it. We never heard about it again. So it's possible that that trust and that structure is still just sat there in the background, waiting to be used in an emergency situation.
And these are the types of narratives that we have to start taking seriously here in 2025, because again, all of the major players that were actively advocating against digital asset adoption are now coming around and admitting the fact that these assets are here to stay. This is a brand new update out of JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon saying crypto is real, and now we're entering a utility phase.
Skeptical of crypto at one point. You're still skeptical.
I've gotten away with no damage so far. Crypto is real. If you mean blockchain, stable coins, you have a JP Morgan deposit coin, you can move stuff, smart contracts are real, all that stuff is real. It will be used by all of us to facilitate, better transactions and customer service.
The exciting part about this, the big players are finally making their shift. The second that they can profit off of an XRP ETF, they are going to be singing the praises of the XRP community and telling the world they need exposure to a digital asset like XRP in order to capitalize on the digital payment system that's being developed today. What are your thoughts?
Here's the thing. They didn't come around. They were already here. They were already buying in the background. They were already innovating in the background. They're already creating patents. Guys, they're here. The smart money, institutional money always gets ahead of the game. So no surprise. I mean, Jamie Dimon, for example, guy's been bashing crypto forever, and now you just heard him say it's real. We're all going to use it. But at the end of the day, these guys have already positioned themselves where they want to be. There's no question about it. They are buying the red days, right? And that's why we tell everybody here, like, make sure you're buying the red days as well, because that is the opportunity or the chance where you get to kind of position yourself and be advantaged for the global change that's coming in the digital payment system.
And when you think about the BlackRock filing, Johnny, what's really interesting is that neither Ripple or BlackRock came out and made an official statement that this was false or incorrect. And like he had said, the Department of Justice looked into this issue and we didn't get any definitive conclusion out of them either. So there's a lot of open doors that are still yet to be addressed. And my question to you is, why wouldn't BlackRock have filed for an XRP ETF? What are your thoughts?
They're not showing their cards until they're ready to show their cards. And when they do, you'll see that. I can't imagine that they're not going to want a piece of the XRP pie.
And here's what's interesting, Johnny. A BlackRock subsidiary here, Bitwise, Matt Hogan said he anticipates their XRP ETF will easily become a billion-dollar fund within the first handful of months, dramatically exceeding what skeptics expect. And if there's one thing that we know for sure as longtime XRP investors, people continue to underestimate the demand that's in the market for this particular token. And if you think about what could happen and what Jake had outlined, if all of these different ETFs are approved in the month of November, you'll have Wisdom Tree, Bitwise, Grayscale, Canary Capital, 6, maybe 7 other companies launching at the exact same time. You're going to have nearly $500 million of demand in the first few days. And imagine when you factor in the XRP market multiplier and how much XRP is actually available on exchanges today, what $500,000 could do to the market cap. We could be talking about a real dramatic increase in price that extends far beyond the 400% we saw last November. So keep that in mind, guys, as this new demand enters the market. And this is a big update I wanted to provide for you all as well. The XRPN Nasdaq shift is happening as we speak. And as this Evernorth company goes live, it's very important to note that this company will be going on to exchanges and purchasing $1 billion individual dollars worth of XRP starting in 2026. Ripple, on the other hand, already gifted this brand new XRP Nasdaq treasury company 338 million tokens free of charge. So the treasury fund is being developed before our very eyes. And when people are saying, how will this impact XRP investors? This is a new buyer, increasing demand, going directly to exchanges, buying that XRP and holding it for the long term.
Yes.
That XRP they're absorbing will not be available on the open market anytime soon. And anybody who has a retirement fund or a pension fund, they're now going to be able to go out, purchase the ticker symbol XRPN, great marketing there by the Evernorth company, and get direct exposure to XRP while also earning a yield. We've never seen this before in the American markets. And even if you look at the product that Michael Saylor offers, he is not earning a yield natively on the DeFi network. So very, very interesting. And it's important nuance here. This will also be led by the likes of David Schwartz, Brad Garlinghouse, and Ashish Birla, all former or current Ripple employees. Really, really exciting, guys. If you enjoy this content and you're excited about these developments, smash that like button. Johnny, what are your thoughts on this NASDAQ application?
I mean, this is awesome. You're seeing literally new business models transform right in front of our eyes. I mean, we're talking about now companies that are literally creating treasuries, currency treasuries. We've never really seen that before in the past, Abs. This is a very new business model that's happening. And, you know, obviously strategy has started it under Michael Saylor's company. And I think you're going to see a lot of other companies follow this thing too. Now, what I love about this is going to create, it's just going to sound weird, but it actually creates kind of a use case if you think about it. And so now what's going to happen is companies are going to go and buy it, and they're going to just stash them in an account, and that's it. And it sits there, and of course they're going to figure out ways to grow and earn interest. But what I love about it is it takes that asset. It takes what we call, like in shares, floating shares. It takes those out of the market. And why do you and I and all our viewers care about that, Abs? Because that reduces the circulating supply. And that means then those price order books, you might start to see them go higher. You know, that multiplier factor that Zach likes to talk about all the time, you may see that increase because you have less coins available on the market book orders.
And I want to take a moment to give a big congratulations to Mr. Johnny Krypto, or for today's episode, Teddy Krypto, because Johnny Krypto officially gave his first ever TED Talk speech. And you guys can check that out. Head on over to his Twitter account. You're going to see this post on Johnny Krypto's Twitter. Want to learn how to control your emotions in the crypto market and take profits? Check out his TED Talk today. And look at what Ripple's doing with the acquisitions, Johnny. Every single one of these acquisitions is creating utility or demand for the RLUSD stablecoin and the XRP ledger. I am anticipating major announcements in 2026. And whether BlackRock files for an XRP ETF or not, they are attending the Ripple Swell event this November, and they are talking about the power of tokenization. But if you believe any of these companies will partner, leave a comment underneath the video. Fidelity, JP Morgan, CME Group, BlackRock, Citibank, DBS, Bloomberg, Nasdaq, BNY Mellon. The list goes on and on. There is going to be 700 participants attending the Ripple Swell event. And here's the exciting part, guys. We just got this really interesting update out of the head of global partnerships at Ripple, where Anders on Twitter commented, Ripple Swell 2025 has the best lineup of speakers of any previous swell. He stated, now imagine what the 2026 project pipeline looks like. Wow. With the likes of BlackRock, Fidelity, MasterCard, JP Morgan, all of these massive traditional players attending Ripple Swell, this could be the insight we need to let us know the onboarding process for real-world companies into XRP Ledger products that begins in 2025.
But the way to think about it, Abs, is all those people that are there. Yeah, it's a conference and I'm going to go and do a speaking, but that's not why you go to these conferences. You go to these conferences to form relationships and to put business deals together. And I can bet you there are going to be a lot of, that's the most important part. And LJ gets it right. He says, now imagine what the 2026 project pipelines look like. He's absolutely right. Conversations are going to come out of these meetings. Relationships are going to be formed. Meetings are going to happen, and projects will get put in place for 26, 27, 28, and 29. So this is a very exciting time. And that's why I was very impressed when I saw that list. I was like, whoa. You know, you and I, you remember, we were looking up. We're like, wow, we didn't see some of these other players earlier on. Nobody even wanted to touch Ripple. They better stay away from them. They'll give them suit. And now here, everybody wants to get a piece of the pie because I think they've realized, they've seen what Ripple's doing to enter in the market. They've seen the companies they buy. They know Ripple's here to stay. Let me tell you, Abs, Ripple is not going anywhere. And they're going to do everything in their power, as Brad said, to be able to push the XRP technology, or I should say, promote and grow the XRP ledger and XRP technology. And that's why I think you're going to see a lot of those people forming those relationships. That's why they're there. And you're going to see we're going to have a lot of good news to talk about over the next couple of years of XRP utility and adoption.
It's an exciting time to be an XRP investor, guys. And now we know for sure XRP ETFs are going live this November. If you enjoyed this content, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you all in the next one.